Hello everyone, I am Dr. Saurabh Shah. I am psychiatrist and faculty in psychiatry department at GMERS Medical College and Hospital Kotri. Today I am going to talk on sleep wake disorders. So let's start with our PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so sleep is universal behavior which is found in majority of the species on the planet. One third of our human life is spent in sleep. Sleep is essential like eating, drinking, and sexual activity, and it's necessary for survival because during the sleep we restore many of our physiological functions. Sleep is again very common disorder like depression and anxiety disorders, but still people are not coming for the sleep related problems to the specialist doctor, and they are having a misuse of certain kind of drugs for their sleep related issues, which may lead to variety of the physical and mental health issues. Now before moving forward towards sleep related disorders, let's go back and have some revision of the physiology of sleep so we can have better understanding of the sleep related problems. So sleep is mainly divided into two parts, NREM and REM sleep. NREM is again divided from stage 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is how sleep cycle goes on from NREM to REM and again NREM to REM. This is EEG of a sleep. Usually you can see that in the awake stage and stage 1, even during the REM sleep, the EEG activity is fast but low amplitude waves are there. But during deep sleep, that is stage 3 and 4, activity is very slow but high amplitude waves are seen. So these high amplitude waves are characteristic of deep sleep or the slow wave sleep, and they are called theta and delta waves. Again, another characteristic of the stage 2 of the sleep is sleep spindles and K complexes. Again, REM sleep, if you see that EEG pattern is almost similar to awake stage. So if you are not aware that patient is sleeping or awake, and if you show the EEG activity, you may misinterpret as a awake stage. So that's why REM sleep is also called as paradoxical sleep. So these are the various characteristics of the sleep EEG. Now the characteristics of NREM. It is very important to understand this characteristic so we have a better understanding of certain parasomnias which happen during NREM sleep. NREM sleep starts from stage 1 to 4. It's called 3 and 4 are deep sleep. Physiological activity, that is brain and body activity, is markedly lower than the awake stage, and it is very smooth and regular. Although NREM is characterized with some kind of brief arousals which happen during NREM sleep, which lead to variety of the pathology or sleep related problems which are parasomnias. Dreaming also occurs in the NREM stage, and that dreaming is purposeful and clear. But the one characteristic of NREM sleep is individual is not aware about what is happening during NREM sleep, and that amnesia for that events lead to uh, patient is having variety of the problems. These problems are enuresis, somnambulism, somniloquy, nightmares, or sleep terrors, which we will learn in the later on. Characteristics of REM sleep, where the physiological activity is or the autonomic activity is unstable. There is a tonic paralysis of muscles. So REM is having a brain activity, but physical activity, that is a paralysis of the muscles, is there. Again, penile erections is a characteristic of an REM sleep, and nocturnal penile tumescence test is performed to rule out the impotence. Again, dreaming happens during the REM stage, but individual is aware, sometimes partially aware about that dreaming, and dreaming content may be abstract and bizarre form. Sleep regulation, various centers in the brain which regulate the sleep through variety of the neurotransmitters. Location is in the brainstem. Neurotransmitters involved are serotonin, norepinephrine, acetylcholine, dopamine, melatonin, which is again secreted by the pineal gland, and suprachiasmatic nucleus of hypothalamus, which plays the role of circadian pacemaker to maintain the individual circadian biological rhythm. Now, sleep-wake disorders. So, variety of the classifications are there. Usually DSM-5 given by the American Psychiatric Association, ICD-10 which is given by WHO, and again ICSD, that is given by American Association of Sleep Medicine. So broadly this classification divides the sleep related disorder like this: insomnia, hypersomnia, narcolepsy, circadian rhythm sleep wake disorder, breathing related sleep disorders, parasomnia, NREM sleep arousal disorder, REM sleep behavior disorders, and sleep related movement problems, that is restless leg syndrome and nightmare disorders. If you see, sleep disorders can be again divided into dysomnias and parasomnias. Dysomnias is basically a problem in the quantity of sleep, and parasomnias are basically problem with the quality, where some abnormal events are happening during sleep. Again, sleep disorders can be divided into primary and secondary insomnia. Primary is again a without any cause, and secondary where there is a some medical condition, substance use, or some mental health related issues are present. And again, you can divide sleep related problems into organic and non-organic, where you can see that narcolepsy, breathing related sleep disorders, even REM sleep behavior disorders can be organic sleep problems, while primary insomnia, primary hypersomnia, these are non-organic, or the circadian rhythm sleep problems, these are non-organic problems. So what is insomnia disorder? Here we are talking about the insomnia as a disorder. We are not talking about the symptom of insomnia. So when we can call that insomnia disorder is there. So there are three main problems: either difficulty in initiating sleep, difficulty in maintaining sleep, and or early morning awakening. So that can be again classified as early, middle, and late insomnia. What are the features of as a disorder, insomnia as a disorder? So when the duration is at least 3 months, when this problem is happening every alternate day or the three times in a week, individual is having a, that is the most important, individual is having a adequate opportunity of sleep but still having a sleep difficulty, and this lead to variety of the day-to-day problems, significant impairment in the level of functioning, individual's mood behavior is affected during, and you have to rule out the secondary causes like other sleep related conditions like circadian rhythm sleep problems or the breathing related sleep problems which may lead to insomnia, or some medical conditions where individual is suffering from severe chronic pain or some other surgical issues where which may lead to insomnia. Certain alcohol and other substance use can lead to insomnia, and insomnia can be a part of a depression or anxiety disorders also. You can again specify that episodic, persistent, recurrent. Episodic means happening sometimes in a year. Persistent means lasting for a longer duration together, and recurrent means individual having a recurrent relapses after some time in their lifetime. Now we are talking about the insomnia, primary insomnia. So what is the basic pathology behind the primary insomnia? And it is very common. Most important is a psychophysiological arousal. So for example, individual is having to perform next day, when they have excessive worries on their mind, when they are trying hard to get asleep, when they are constantly ruminating thoughts while falling asleep, or they may be have some kind of a going through stress which may lead to variety of the changes in their psychic functions and physiological functions. They have increased muscle tension, increased heart rate, all these things keeps them away from sleep. So this is called a psychophysiological arousal where there is a no secondary pathology. Again, negative conditioning can happen when individual is not getting sleep at particular environment. So all the items which are related in their sleep environment, maybe a bed sheet, maybe a certain things which is there in their bed, or certain kind of a stimulus present in their environment, become negatively conditioned to their sleep. So whenever they go to same bed or same room, they have a difficulty in initiating sleep. But again, when they are not trying, when they are not trying to get sleep, or when they are doing some other activities, they may feel sleepy. So negative conditioning, again, a cause of a primary insomnia. Subjective insomnia, where individual having a misperception about their sleep, although on EEG or sleep EEG it shows that they have an adequate amount of sleep, but they subjectively complain of not getting enough sleep, but they are not having any other kind of a depressive or anxiety symptoms, and during daytime they are well, but only complaint is not having enough sleep. Idiopathic, obviously, where there is no identifiable cause, which may be due to familial regions, genetics, or some problem in the brainstem functioning. And inadequate sleep hygiene. What is inadequate sleep hygiene, and what you should do to improve your sleep hygiene, that we will see later on. And again, secondary causes may be due to medical conditions, substance use, or some environmental condition or mental health issues. So most important treatment part of insomnia. So you should be aware about sleep hygiene, do's and don'ts of for good sleep. So do's may be, you should arise daily at the same time. So your sleep time or wake up time should be regular throughout the week. Many times it happens when we have holidays or when we are not working, we used to sleep for a longer duration in the morning time, and sometimes in the weekends we we tend to be awake for a late night, which affect your sleep quality, and it may lead to insomnia. Limit daily in bedtime to usual amount. So when you are spending your time in a bed for some other activities like eating, watching TV, using mobile phones, or playing some games, you should avoid all this, because it may lead to affect, it may negatively affect your sleep in that particular bed. You should avoid night stimulation. Night stimulation means, do not excite yourself with some uh, videos, do not excite yourself with some games, and you should avoid heavy eating at the night time. You should avoid heavy exercise in night time. So all this night stimulation, even you should avoid certain stimulating drugs or eating like coffee, alcohol, or tea. You should avoid in the evening or late night. What you can try, you can try hot 20 minutes bath, which makes your body relax and helps you to have a better sleep. You should avoid large meals at night. If you feel that daytime naps are affecting your nighttime sleep, you should avoid those naps. If you can start graded physical exercise, but of course in the morning time and in the early evening rather than late evening or mid during night time. Most important is, try to develop some habits of deep breathing exercises, meditation, guided imagery, or deconditioning with your sleeping environment. And maintain comfortable sleeping condition, means your room should be quiet, dark, cool, and having a proper bed sheets, a comfortable bed should be there. So maintaining adequate sleep hygiene will lead to less sleep problems in future. And even if certain problems happen, we can have a certain kind of pharmacological agents which help for treating insomnia, which may be a short-term use of certain drugs, which can be a benzodiazepines, Z group of drugs. But the important principle, you should not prescribe these drugs for more than 2 weeks, and continuously you should try to should not take, otherwise it may lead to tolerance and withdrawal problems. Another group of drug is a melatonin agonist, ramelteon or agomelatine. Other drugs can be used for the initial insomnia. These are various therapies which can help to improve the insomnia, which can be a stimulus control therapy, where you will remove certain stimulus in your sleeping environment which become negatively conditioned to your uh, sleep. Relaxation exercises, biofeedback therapy, cognitive therapy, that is to correct your distortions, worries, excessive thinking related to sleep, uh, and sleep restriction therapy that I have explained. You should uh, reduce your time in bed except sleep. Hypersomnia disorder. Hypersomnia is again a excessive sleepiness during night time. So individual is having a more than 7 hours of night sleep, but still they are unrefreshed, difficulty in being fully awake during daytime, and recurrent lapses into sleep during daytime. So that is a hypersomnolence disorder. Again, when will you say that it is a disorder? At least 3 months, more than 3 times in a week, lead to significant impairment in daily routines, and you should rule out other secondary causes. Now, what is primary hypersomnia or idiopathic hypersomnia? Where individual is having a unrefreshed, undisturbed night sleep more than 7 hours, but during daytime they are feeling sleepy. They are they like to again fall back into sleep, which may be due to some dysfunction, autonomic nervous system dysfunction, or brainstem dysfunction, or having a past history of post-viral infection, or sometimes familial or genetic causes. All this can lead to hypersomnia. Klein-Levin syndrome is again a rare condition in which individual is having episodes of hypersomnia where individuals sleep for more than 12 hours, 20 hours together, and during that period of hypersomnolence, they have other features like hyperphagia, hypersexuality, and violent behavior. Menstrual related hypersomnia, where individual female during or just before the menses have a hypersomnia along with other symptoms of premenstrual dysphoric disorder may be present. And hypersomnia can be due to some medical condition, substance use, or it can be a part of some mental health issues and some environmental conditions. Another disorder is a narcolepsy, which is again a type of hypersomnia, but it is having a characteristic certain features. So you can see in the pictures, individuals while doing some activities, they have recurrent episodes of irrepressible need of sleep, lapses into sleep. If it happens for 3 times a week for at least 3 months, then it can be considered. The important characteristic features are episodes of cataplexy, means loss of muscle tone, sudden loss of balance, individual suddenly fall down, having grimaces, jaw opening. So hypotonia, that is a characteristic feature of REM sleep. So episodes of cataplexy, they are having a low CSF level of hypocretin, which is required for maintaining awakeness or alertness. And the important thing is sleep onset REM. So REM is uh, again REM happens suddenly when individual is awake and they fall into sleep, and that REM uh, uh, induction during the wakefulness leads to variety of the features of narcolepsy. These are various specifiers of narcolepsy. Important features are hypnagogic and hypnopompic hallucination, sleep paralysis, loss of muscle tone, and it usually happens in younger age, and it is due to abnormality in REM inhibiting mechanism. So REM suddenly happens during the wakefulness stage, and individuals having these kind of features of narcolepsy. They found that in 100% patients of narcolepsy, there is a human leukocyte antigen DR2 present. Treatment of narcolepsy should be done to avoid accidents. So individuals should be educated first. Relatives need to be educated about narcolepsy. Individuals should be advised to have a scheduled naps so to avoid unexpected sleep attacks and to prevent the injuries. Lifestyle adjustment require certain kind of changes in daily habits. They should avoid certain car driving, long driving, driving alone, machinery work, to prevent the accidents. Stimulant drugs are very helpful. These are called psychostimulant drugs, which are alpha agonist, which increases the noradrenaline level in the brain, and they are modafinil or modafinil, usually given in the morning time to prevent those kind of sleep attacks. SSRIs and TCS are REM suppressing agents, so help to suppress that REM phenomena happening during the narcolepsy, and careful monitoring of their illness is required. Now, parasomnias. What is it? It is an unusual phenomenon during sleep or on the threshold of wakefulness. So, NREM, parasomnias are sleepwalking, which is again called as somnambulism. sleep terrors, which are called as night terrors, nightmares, which happen during the REM sleep. And REM sleep, there are some REM sleep behavioral disorders, and restless leg syndrome, which happen uh, just before falling into sleep. So this is a picture showing of a somnambulism or the sleepwalking. Now, why it happen, and what are the characteristic features, and what you can do to manage it. Usually happen during the deep sleep, slow wave sleep. So we know that NREM characteristic of brief arousals, that brief arousals lead to patient suddenly gets up, tries to walk. Sometimes they do some complex activities like eating, going outside, sometimes driving also, which may lead to variety of the problems. Usually individual is having a blank staring face. They are not aware about that episode. They are difficult to arouse during that time. What you can do, you can safely take back to their bed rather than arousing them, and otherwise they get confused and they may hit you sometimes. Causes may be family history, genetics, some neurological abnormalities need to be ruled out. It is common in the children and boys. Usually in adolescent adulthood, it disappears. But during stressful periods, during sleep deprivation, it can reoccur even in the adolescents and adults. Treatment is usually directed to prevent injuries, accidents, proper education of the patient and relatives, and reassurance is required. You can try benzodiazepines and other uh, drugs like antidepressants, but they are usually not effective to control these sleepwalking episodes. Another characteristic parasomnias of NREM sleep is a sleep terror. Like sleepwalking, due to brief arousal, this sleep terror happens during the NREM stage. Characteristic features are the panic attacks, but happening during the NREM sleep. Individual is not aware about those episodes, common in the children, boys, and again family history may be positive. Neurological abnormality needs to be ruled out, and treatment is again directed towards proper education, reassurance, and judicious use of benzodiazepines. Nightmares are very common phenomena which may not require treatment every time, but you should be aware about it as a disorder. It is happening usually in the REM sleep. Usually dreams are very dysphoric, and but due to REM, individual is aware about dreams. Content of the dream may be threats to individual survival, integrity, or security. Usually when you after that nightmare episodes, they are awake, alert, they can remember or recall some of the portions of dreams. So nightmare is very common phenomena, usually do not require any kind of pharmacological management, but of course reassurance, education, and judicious use of benzodiazepine. If sleep is affected, it leads to insomnia, then you can try benzodiazepines. Even TCS are very helpful to suppress that REM sleep, and you can have a reduction in the nightmare episodes. So this condition can be a transient but lifelong, so recurrence may be present. REM sleep behavior disorder is usually when certain kind of behaviors happen during REM sleep. Why? Because that lack of loss of muscle tone, which is characteristic of REM, is not happening properly. So individuals may get uh, awake and do some complex motor activities, which may be vocalization or trying to harm someone. So and again, individual is oriented and alert, unlike the NREM sleep, where individual is having a confusion and they are having amnesia. So polysomnography shows that REM sleep without atonia. So failure of integration of sleep wake regulation with locomotor system in pontine areas, this lead to REM sleep behavioral problems. Treatment can be anticonvulsant drugs also, and like carbamazepine, and muscle relaxants like clonazepam are helpful. There are certain other problems which are not actually a pathological problems which require treatment, but you should be aware about this as isolated symptoms of the sleep disorders, which may be a sleep related grinding, bruxism, tooth grinding, clenching. The problem can be a damage to the teeth. Dental consultation may be required to protect the teeth. and some relaxing or activities, biofeedback relaxation exercises may be helpful. Sleep talking is again a common in all the stages of sleep. Individuals may verbalize certain words. Usually treatment is not required. Now the most important common problem is a restless leg syndrome, which is also called Ickbom syndrome, where individual is having a uncomfortable sensations when they are trying to take a rest and fall into sleep. They suddenly have a creepy crawly sensations where they feel that ants or something is crawling over their skin, and they feel uneasy. They try to move the limbs, then they feel little bit rest in their legs, but again that sensations reappear, and this cycle goes on, and they have a difficulty in falling into sleep. So it is very common in the middle age. You should rule out the causes of restless leg syndrome like iron deficiency, folic acid deficiency, vitamin B12 deficiency, any kidney disease. It can happen certain physiological changes like during pregnancy, menstruation. Treatment is usually directed to reduce this restless leg syndrome are benzodiazepines, dopamine agonist drugs like ropinirole or pramipexole, and levodopa, and rarely opioids can be used. Anticonvulsants may have a role, but it is not evidence are not sufficient for that. Breathing related sleep disorders, I am not going to talk on the details of the breathing related sleep disorder because variety of the problems are associated with the chest medicine or the respiratory medicines. I am highlighting just certain names of the breathing related sleep disorders, where obstructive sleep apnea, central sleep apneas, and sleep related hypoventilations. Obstructive sleep apnea or hypoapnea, where the snoring or grunting or the snorting may happen, an individual is having a problem with the quality of sleep. Usually, it is due to obstruction of airways partially or completely. Central sleep apnea, where there is a problem in the central respiratory drive, and sleep-related hyperventilation, where there is a problem in the individual's alveoli ventilation, which lead to sleep-related hyperventilation. Now, the most important problem, very common problem, is a circadian rhythm sleep disorder, where there is a misalignment between individuals biological clock, that is endogenous circadian rhythm, and sleep wake schedule required by the surrounding environment. So it is not matching properly, so which lead to variety of the sleep problems. Usually it is at self limited, but quality of sleep is usually normal. There are various types depending upon whether delayed sleep phase syndrome, where individual is not having a sleep early in the night time, and they are having a late onset of sleep in the midnight, and then there is a difficulty in getting awake in the early morning, and they have a morning tiredness. Advanced sleep phase usually seen in the elderly people, where they have a difficulty to remain awake in the even late evening, and they are fell early into sleep and have a midnight awakening. But usually they are having a no tiredness in the morning. Irregular sleep wake, where there is a no proper sleep wake cycle. Shift work type usually found in the industry people, those who are doing nighttime job, then they have a difficulty in matching with the uh, day night cycle required by their surrounding environment. Treatment is usually bright light therapy and melatonin, that is a again helps to set that circadian rhythm. Then there are certain other disorders, periodic leg movement disorder, nocturnal myoclonus, where there is a stereotypic periodic leg movements during NREM phase. No seizure activity is there, but it lead to unrefreshing sleep. Again, the causes may be similar to restless leg syndrome, which needs to be ruled out, and treatment is again a similar to restless leg syndrome. But sometimes periodic leg movement disorders are difficult to treat, unlike the restless leg syndrome. Kleine-Levy syndrome that we have discussed. These are some isolated symptoms, or you can say normal variants of the sleep. Some individuals may be long sleepers, some individuals may be short sleepers. So these are not the uh, problems or actually pathologies, but you should be aware that it can be a normal variation also. Individuals may be snoring excessively, which may not be a part of a obstructive sleep apneas. Individuals may be talking in sleep. Individuals may have a jerks during sleep. Even in infant may have some myoclonic jerks also. So these are various problems which need to be aware. And there are some other sleep problems which may are secondary problems which are happening secondary to depression, anxiety, secondary to certain chronic medical condition, secondary to alcohol use or certain other tobacco use or opioid use, and sometimes environmental sleep disorder where individual is living in certain environment where they are not have adequate opportunities to sleep, excessive noise of the surrounding environment, excessive light from the surrounding environment, that disturbance lead to the sleep problem. Okay, thank you.